Wow, Katt Williams just validated what everyone had been suspecting. 50 Cent cut 7 prominent names from the Netflix documentary about Diddy. These aren't minor figures either. We're talking about major entertainment industry celebrities. Katt forecasted this months in advance, and now the reality is emerging. Let's dive in. This is why you're watching. Katt Williams has entered the fray surrounding the Netflix Diddy documentary, and he's speaking candidly. He's exposing 50 Cent for shielding specific individuals and excluding key figures from the final production. Recall Katt's appearance on Club Shay when he declared, "All lies will be exposed." He was referring to precisely this scenario. Frankly, he nailed it. Here's what this video covers. I'll reveal the 7 names that were entirely removed from the documentary, straight from Katt Williams himself. We'll examine why these individuals received protection, how Katt Williams foresaw everything before it became obvious to others, and the ties between these celebrities and Diddy that Netflix clearly wanted to keep hidden. Here's something remarkable. Sources claim people actually attempted to pay 50 Cent to exclude controversial figures from the documentary. But consider this. Katt already anticipated these names would remain concealed. Whether discussing the alleged tapes or the Netflix production, some individuals simply remain beyond scrutiny. End of story.
Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
Katt Williams predicted Diddy's downfall on Club Shay Shay in 2024. He said, "Diddy loves partying, and somebody needs to tell him no." He warned every lie would surface that year, and it did. 50 Cent made a Netflix documentary, Diddy, The Reckoning, with unseen footage from right before Diddy's arrest. Private recordings, attorney meetings, damning allegations. Diddy's lawyers demanded it be pulled, calling it illegally obtained. Netflix released it anyway. Diddy got 4 years for solicitation, but over 150 lawsuits are pending, several involving minors. The feds hint more charges are coming. Investigators on his case are now coordinating with those probing Tupac's murder, showing how far this reaches. People claim they have tapes of Diddy with other celebrities doing things they want buried. Katt Williams recently made a statement confirming it all. I realize this seems outrageous, but his statement went beyond mere humor. Katt was validating everything he's been claiming from the start. He's aware of the events that transpired. He understands which individuals participated, and he knows precisely who received special treatment. Let's examine these 7 individuals. Starting with Snoop Dogg. You might be questioning this choice. Snoop, seriously? Absolutely. Snoop shares extensive connections with Diddy spanning multiple decades. They attended gatherings together, conducted business ventures together, and worked on musical projects. They moved within identical social spheres for years. So what explains Snoop's absence from the film? Ally Carter revealed information about him, and her allegations were startling. Ally Carter claims Snoop Dogg is even worse than Diddy. She says Snoop has more power and better protection than Diddy ever did. Carter first talked about Snoop in December 2020, but people immediately came after her. They called her a liar and told her to shut up, but she kept talking. Here's the crazy part. Snoop was accused of trafficking kids. You'd think serious charges like that would make major headlines, right? There should have been investigations, people getting upset, something happening. But guess what? Nothing happened at all. Instead, Snoop performed at the Super Bowl halftime show. Think about that for a second. A man accused of trafficking children performed at one of the biggest events in America. People canceled Dr. Seuss books and Aunt Jemima pancake syrup for way less, but Snoop got away with everything. Carter even pointed out that the Super Bowl numbers 56 looked like they were dripping blood. But everyone was too busy eating hot wings and watching the game to care. So why did 50 Cent cut Snoop from the documentary? Because Snoop has too many powerful friends. He's too protected. If 50 tried to expose Snoop, the documentary would get shut down completely. Some people in hip-hop can't be touched, and Snoop is one of them. Now let's talk about Kevin Hart. Kevin's situation is interesting because he's talked about the Diddy situation, but very carefully. Kevin used to go to Sean Combs' famous Puffy flavor camps. If you don't know what those were, just know they were wild. Kevin was part of the inner circle back then. There's even viral Frosty Flakes footage showing Kevin knew exactly what was going on. The situation becomes particularly compelling at this point. Kevin recently served as the Master of Ceremonies for the BET Awards, where he delivered several comedic remarks regarding Diddy that disclosed far more information than audiences initially comprehended. INT Kevin made quips about post-event celebrations, stating, "That's where things become problematic." He observed, "We're discovering plenty about individuals, aren't we?" Following that, he remarked, "The Lord remains benevolent always." Initially, these comments appear to be standard Kevin Hart humor. However, upon closer examination, Kevin was conveying a deliberate signal. He explicitly announced, "There won't be any late-night gatherings this evening." Additionally, he arranged the ceremony for a Monday, ensuring attendees would need to report to their jobs the following morning. This wasn't coincidental, it was calculated. There's additional context to consider. Orlando Brown enters the picture. While Orlando has made numerous controversial statements, he alleged that Kevin Hart accepted $50 million for a deeply compromising act. During the broadcast, Diddy declared, "Mace has complete freedom to pursue his career and make his own choices moving forward." Yet Mace's response, anxious, startled, excessively thankful, suggested he remained under some form of control. Mace explicitly stated, "Obtaining this documentation required a full decade." He appeared genuinely astonished that Diddy actually returned his publishing rights. He even quipped, "I'm unaccustomed to Puff performing generous acts." Consider the implications. Someone who collaborated with Diddy for numerous years expressed genuine surprise at receiving fair treatment. This reveals everything necessary to understand the dynamic. What motivated 50's decision to exclude Mace from the film? Either Mace remains too frightened to provide testimony, or Diddy continues exerting influence over him somehow. His refusal to speak raises red flags. He possesses comprehensive knowledge, yet maintains total silence. Featuring Mace in the documentary would have prompted inquiries about his unwillingness to come forward. It would have sparked speculation about what leverage Diddy maintains over him. Consequently, 50 determined complete omission was the preferable approach. Next comes Meek Mill, and frankly, this situation gets complicated. Meek has maintained connections with Diddy and entertainment industry power players for years. Rumors concerning Meek have circulated extensively, though nothing substantiated emerged until lately. Orlando Brown, yes, appearing again, made statements that ignited widespread discussion. His crude remarks about irreversible physical experiences gained significant attention. During the broadcast, Diddy declared, "Mace has complete freedom to pursue his career and make his own choices moving forward." Yet Mace's response, anxious, startled, excessively thankful, suggested he remained under some form of control. Mace explicitly stated, "Obtaining this documentation required a full decade." He appeared genuinely astonished that Diddy actually returned his publishing rights. He even quipped, "I'm unaccustomed to Puff performing generous acts." Consider the implications. Someone who collaborated with Diddy for numerous years expressed genuine surprise at receiving fair treatment. This reveals everything necessary to understand the dynamic. What motivated 50's decision to exclude Mace from the film? Either Mace remains too frightened to provide testimony, or Diddy continues exerting influence over him somehow. His refusal to speak raises red flags. He possesses comprehensive knowledge, yet maintains total silence. Featuring Mace in the documentary would have prompted inquiries about his unwillingness to come forward. It would have sparked speculation about what leverage Diddy maintains over him. Consequently, 50 determined complete omission was the preferable approach. Next comes Meek Mill, and frankly, this situation gets complicated. Meek has maintained connections with Diddy and entertainment industry power players for years. Rumors concerning Meek have circulated extensively, though nothing substantiated emerged until lately. Orlando Brown, yes, appearing again, made statements that ignited widespread discussion. His crude remarks about irreversible physical experiences gained significant attention. Admittedly, this sounds absurd. However, Orlando has been exposing individuals for years, and occasionally his allegations prove accurate. Meek's identity repeatedly surfaced in these discussions. Subsequently, the situation escalated further. An audio recording purportedly involving Meek Mill appeared on the internet, with listeners asserting the second voice belonged to P. Diddy himself. Jaguar Wright, who has spent years revealing entertainment industry confidences, stated she firmly believed Diddy's voice appeared in that recording. The audio contained graphic and compromising content. It circulated rapidly across various platforms before being systematically removed from the internet relatively swiftly. What explains 50 Cent's choice to exclude Meek from the film? The audio's authenticity was never officially confirmed. Incorporating it would have exposed 50 to substantial legal action. Meek maintains significant industry presence and influence. He commands legal representation and financial resources. He possessed the capability to devastate Netflix with litigation. 50 reached a pragmatic conclusion. Avoiding potential legal complications outweighed including material lacking absolute verification. Now we arrive at Justin Bieber, and this case differs fundamentally because Justin represents a victim rather than a perpetrator. Justin resided with Diddy during his early teenage years. Footage exists showing Diddy claiming he maintained guardianship of Justin for 48-hour periods. Those archived recordings reveal young Justin appearing visibly uneasy in Diddy's presence. Why doesn't Justin appear in the documentary? Because 50 Cent deliberately chose to shield him. When paparazzi recently questioned Justin regarding the film, his reaction proved deeply emotional. Justin responded, "Never mention that individual to me again. I've moved past certain experiences for my mental well-being. Regarding the documentary's content, let's simply acknowledge that people are finally becoming aware." He continued, "I was merely a child. I possessed no understanding. I refuse to revisit that topic ever again." The anguish in his voice is unmistakable. Justin was underage when these events occurred. He lacked agency in those situations. He couldn't comprehend what awaited him. 50 Cent made the appropriate decision by excluding Justin. Featuring him would have required revealing what transpired with a minor. The material would have proven excessively disturbing, even for Netflix's standards. Justin is attempting to recover and progress with his existence. He's now married with children. He doesn't require the world dissecting his suffering for public consumption. Therefore, 50 honored Justin's victim status and omitted him from the production. Frankly, that represents the most compassionate action 50 could have taken. Next comes Usher, whose narrative holds particular significance because he preceded everyone else. Usher resided with Diddy during his teenage years in what they termed puffy flavor camp. This occurred before Justin Bieber, before any others. Usher served as the original model. He became the initial young performer to experience Diddy's program. Usher has discussed witnessing things that remain permanently etched in his memory. He's alluded to experiences that fundamentally altered him. Subsequently, Usher became the person who directed Justin Bieber toward Diddy, a choice he likely regrets continuously. What motivated 50 Cent's decision to exclude Usher from the film? The identical reasoning behind Justin's removal. Usher represents a victim rather than an offender. Katt Williams cautioned us about their treatment of emerging talent. He explained they select gifted youngsters and subject them to experiences that damage them. Usher was their initial subject. They experimented with everything on him. According to individuals familiar with the production, the Usher segment proved too disturbing for broadcast, even within a documentary addressing Diddy's offenses. What Usher endured was excessively troubling to incorporate. Usher seeks to preserve his reputation and professional standing. He's an R&B icon with his own children now. Dragging him back into this situation would have devastated him again. 50 chose to exclude Usher, which was the correct judgment. Now we arrive at the most significant omission, the identity that surpasses all others on this roster: Clive Davis. Most individuals lack familiarity with Clive Davis, but those who understand recognize his importance. Clive Davis operates above Diddy in the hierarchy. He serves as the genuine authority within the music business. Diddy operates under Clive's sanction. Diddy makes no significant choices without consulting Clive initially. Clive identified and managed Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, and numerous other monumental artists. He's maintained industry presence for over 5 decades. He maintains connections with everyone. If Diddy hosted extravagant gatherings, imagine Clive's celebrations. Diddy functioned as an employee. Clive held the executive position. Katt Williams articulated this himself, questioning, Diddy was merely an employee. Who holds the power? Clive Davis. What explains 50 Cent's removal of Clive from the documentary? One concept: apprehension. Exposing Clive Davis would prevent the documentary's distribution. Netflix wouldn't broadcast it. Streaming platforms would decline involvement. Television networks would refuse promotion. Clive wields more influence than most comprehend. He maintains connections with record companies, streaming services, media corporations, everything. Targeting Clive would have terminated the documentary before its commencement. 50 Cent had to eliminate Clive's identity because otherwise you wouldn't be viewing this documentary currently. It would have been suppressed. That represents the most crucial exclusion on this entire roster. Everyone concentrates on Diddy, but Clive constructed the framework that permitted Diddy's actions. Diddy absorbed everything from Clive. Removing Diddy accomplishes nothing if Clive remains shielded, and that's precisely what transpired. So there you have it, the 7 identities that 50 Cent eliminated from the Netflix Diddy documentary. Katt Williams predicted this outcome. He declared all deceptions would surface in 2024. However, he also recognized the most powerful figures would remain concealed. He understood certain individuals possessed excessive power to challenge. From Snoop Dogg to Clive Davis, these identities demonstrate the depth of institutional protection. The establishment safeguards its members, always has, always will. The Netflix documentary represents merely the initial phase. Additional charges await Diddy. Federal investigators continue their work. The litigation continues accumulating. Now, I want your perspective. Comment below indicating which identity you believe deserved inclusion in the documentary. Do you think 50 Cent made the appropriate choice shielding these individuals, or should he have revealed everything regardless of repercussions? Appreciate your viewership. I'll connect with you in the following video.